What's up guys, my name is Mel, and I just got back for being away for about 2 weeks. And for those 2 weeks, I used my GoPros pretty much every day. Mostly for the sole reason of creating time lapses. And I love time lapses. Especially when you're trying to figure out how do you sum up everything that happened during the day. I think the easiest way to show it is to show you everything really fast. Anyway, I'm sure all of you have run into the same problems that I did, and I've been running into the same problems year after year after year while using GoPros. GoPros are great, and this isn't any secret. I love GoPros. Actually, I love action cameras in general. GoPros in particular, they've got so many functions, and they're waterproof and they're durable. I have no worries leaving my GoPros out in the hot, in the cold, in the rain, whatever the weather is. I know my GoPro is going to be okay. It's a little bit of a different story if I were to use this camera in that way though. We got overheating issues, I'm worried if it's going to get wet. Anyway, yeah, I love action cameras. But my god, if you are missing one piece, that shot you've been thinking about getting all week, it's not possible anymore. One day it's the SD card, another day it's a battery, the third day it's the thumb screw. If you're missing even just one of these things, you're not going to be able to use your GoPro. They're all such small things. At the end of one day, you take all your SD cards out of the camera, you download all your footage, you take your batteries, you set them to charge. You think to yourself, Mel, don't forget. Do not forget to grab the batteries and the SD cards that you took out of the camera the night before you leave in the morning. And what happens? Inevitably, you're gonna leave something behind. So in this video, I'm gonna talk about a couple ways to make sure that this doesn't happen to you. First, I'm gonna talk about 5 tips to make sure that your day of shooting with using your GoPro works out smoothly. And then I'm gonna introduce to you my GoPro kind of backup everyday carry bag. I always carry this bag with me, especially when I'm doing video. Now, this bag isn't just for GoPros, it's for using all my cameras in general because, cameras don't work just by themselves. You need batteries and you need other things to make it work. And just as a tip, that the items that are in this bag, even though I'm referring to them as my GoPro everyday carry, they can work with pretty much every action camera out there because everyone that makes an action camera makes sure that they can capitalize on all of those GoPro mounts out there. Now, if you don't want to listen to my 5 tips on how to make sure that your day of shooting goes smoothly, I'm going to put a little time hack right here so you know where to go to in the video just to take a look at the everyday carry GoPro pouch. So here we go. Tip number 1, batteries. Your GoPro batteries are gonna last about an hour, and I have a lot of GoPro batteries. So, as a tip, if you have a bunch of batteries like I do, and also if you're working with other people that have GoPros, I make sure that every single one of my batteries is labeled with my name and they are numbered. I always use my batteries in order. So you start with battery number 1. When that battery runs out of juice, you take it out, you go for battery number 2. This way, when you're digging around in the bag, you're not trying to figure out which one of these batteries still has power and which doesn't. Tip number 2, when you finish charging your batteries, put them right back in the camera. This way, you know when you wake up in the morning or you take out your GoPro, you know there's a fresh battery in there, already charged and ready to go. Then I know if I leave the batteries that are charging on the desk and I forget to bring them, I still have one good battery in the GoPro. Tip number 3, SD cards. These things are so small and they're so easy to lose. They're also so easy to lose track of. Me personally, I have way more SD cards than I do have cameras, so I have this little SD card holder to make sure that I don't lose them. Personally, if I'm shooting videos for more than one day, I like to download all the footage that night erase the card so I know the next day I'm starting fresh. If this is you, just like with the batteries, as soon as you download the footage and erase the card, put it right back in the camera. Tip number 4. Always leave your GoPro in the frame. Your GoPro isn't going to work very well in any of those fancy mounts if you don't have it in the frame. Kind of as a bonus tip, my GoPros don't have some fancy housing or whatever. They just kind of sit in a bag. So make sure you have a little cover to protect that lens. Because if this lens gets scratched in your bag, every single piece of your video is going to show up with that scratch in it. My personal mounting choice is the GoPro tripod mount, using this little tripod adapter. This way I don't have to carry around 800 little specialized GoPro mounts. I can just use the different monopods and other items that I use with my cameras to mount the GoPro wherever I want. This has worked out great for me because then I don't have to carry twice the amount of stuff. Tip number 5. Carry a backup EDC bag just like this, just for your GoPros. This bag is specifically for my cameras. That's it. Now, I carry this bag with me every time I'm shooting with any one of my cameras, and this thing is basically my backup. This isn't your typical everyday carry or EDC because I don't use everything in here every day. I carry everything in here with me every time I go out shooting because inevitably either myself or somebody that I'm with is going to forget something. So this is like your prepare for anything, your Murphy's bag of camera stuff. Now without further ado, let's get to it. A little disclaimer though. Having this bag implies that you already have a camera with a battery, an SD card in it with all the mounts. You have everything set to go in your bag. It's just that you always want to be prepared. Also, a second disclaimer, I always carry this Leatherman Skeletal with me. That includes some pliers, a screwdriver bit, and this also includes an extra bit here on the side with a Allen key that fits my Peak Design items. The pouch itself is a Maxpedition mini pocket pouch or whichever. If I can't remember the exact name, but I'll put it on the screen right here. One of those little LED keychains that I got for free from some store somewhere. I put it on the front like this because then I can just grab the bag, and if I'm looking for something else that's in the bottom of the bag, I just push the light and then I can look for whatever I need. But you know, I can also pull it out up the front here, and if I'm working in a dark situation, then I can look inside the pouch whenever needed. And here it is. We'll start from left to right. Here on the left hand side is a Joby micro tripod with a cell phone holder. Stores pretty quickly but opens just like that. You can set it on the table or whatever you're doing. Put your phone on it so you can, I don't know, watch a movie, or you can set it up in a way to use your phone to do some type of video or a time lapse or whatever floats your boat. I should also mention that the tripod comes off just like this if you wanted to use this for any of your other cameras. This one's particularly useful for 360 cameras because the footprint's so small. But in a pinch, I can attach my GoPro tripod adapter on it and then mount my GoPro or sit my GoPro wherever I need it. Right here in the middle is some crazy glue type one-time use. This one is Gorilla Glue, Gorilla Super Glue. Use the tip to open it so these two stay together. I should really tape these together, but you never know. You never know when you're gonna need to patch something up. Also, here I have 2 zip ties. The uses of zip ties are limitless. You want to fix something or you want to mount your GoPro somewhere, you can pretty much do anything with these 2 zip ties. Next on the back here is just a basic portable USB power hub. It's got 2 USB, or it's got 1 USB port in it. Right now it's fully charged, charges by micro USB, and this one is 3000 mAh. Not a lot of power, but if I'm digging into this bag as a last resort, I'm gonna be happy that I even have a power bank with me. That's it. That's it for that side. Next, over here, on the top, I just have on a small S carabiner the Allen wrench to tighten or loosen the plate for the Peak Design camera clip, or the Peak Design capture clip. I don't know how many times while I was away I wanted to loosen or tighten that thing off of my camera, either to attach it to my monopod or to attach it to my gimbal. And one day I did not have this, and thankfully I was on like a construction site, and I was able to find an Allen wrench to loosen that plate. But if I didn't have this, I probably wouldn't have been using my gimbal. Right here is this GoPro tool. You can use it as a pry bar, because I don't really use the GoPro specific thumb screws anymore that don't have this little tab on it. You know, I guess I could have it in case somebody else needs it, but I use it more for as a pry bar, or using it as a screwdriver in case I need to tighten or loosen something. If you didn't notice, this also doubles as a bottle cap opener. Doesn't work very well. Just letting you know. Right here on the right, a separate set of a tripod, GoPro tripod adapter. This one's made of aluminum. If you've watched my previous videos, you know that I have a severe disdain for plastic GoPro tripod mounts. This aluminum one is much stronger, and I've never had one of these fail on me. But with this tripod mount adapter, I can pretty much attach my GoPro to any of my, like I said before, any one of my camera monopods, or even a tripod if I needed to. Along with the tripod adapter, this is a GoPro thumb screw. Comes with a little tab on the side, so I don't have to be concerned about using a tool like this or a screwdriver to tighten or loosen it, because I have that little tab to provide me with a little bit extra torque when tightening or loosening these things. I always keep these two together, because if you don't have a thumb screw, then chances are you can't mount your GoPro onto anything that you have. So I always like to have a backup. In this case, I have 2 different cables. One is the USB to USB-C. This is specific for the GoPro to use with the charging bank, because like I said, I love doing time lapses, and you can't do time lapses off of one battery. Just not gonna happen. And as a last resort, I have this little USB to 3 different USB cables. This one's here, the micro USB, this one's the USB-C, and this one's a lightning cable, because you never know when you need to charge something. Last but not least, an SD card. In this one, I have a 128 gigabyte micro SD card inside the SD card adapter. This way I know if I am missing an SD card out of one of my cameras, I have a backup. I have the SD card to put into my GoPros or my 360 cameras, but I also have the adapter to make it an SD card, a full-size SD card, in case I don't have one for my regular cameras. And that's it. And that's it for my GoPro everyday carry sort of backup bag. This thing comes in super handy. I strongly urge you that if you are out there using your GoPro every day, or even when you're out on vacation, to carry a bag like this, because, like one of my life mottos, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. I should also add that that when you're restocking all your supplies at the end of the day, this has got to be the first thing that you restock, because if you don't restock your backup and you're missing something, well, it's not going to be a good day of shooting. I'd also like to add, and I forgot to mention before, the USB power bank has a little lanyard on it. I like having power banks that are like this. This way I could hang it up on the monopod or on the camera. Typically, when I have it on the camera like this, I hook it onto the thumb screw just like that. This way I don't have a power bank rolling around in the dirt somewhere. So, I'd like to hear, what kinds of things do you carry in your backup, everyday carry type of GoPro bag? How do you set it up? And is there anything that you think that you would add to this kind of kit? Maybe I missed something, and if you mention it, then I'll have to add it to the bag. So, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.